like to welcome you to BOI Meets Wellness, a podcast that discusses the complexities, celebrations, and challenges of building a wellness ritual as a BOI, a person who is born obviously incredible. You are now listening to BOI Meets Wellness with poet, motivational speaker, and wellness lover, Evolve Benton.
BOI, born obviously incredible, especially when you wear it pretty. What's good, BOI Meets Wellness listeners? This is Evolve Benton, and this is the last episode of Season 2 of BOI Meets Wellness. We get to finish it up with Ciara Henry of GWQ Fashion. In this episode, we discuss the power of having multiple streams of income, how to look fly on a budget, and how Ciara fell in love with fashion. This season was all about financial wellness, and I hope it provided you the resources to step into your own financial wellness personal journey. Financial literacy is so important. It has really changed and literally saved my life. So my wellness tip for y'all this week, before we jump into the interview, is to check in with your body daily. Recently, around Halloween, I went to Las Vegas, Nevada, and I had a foot injury. It was like nagging at me the whole weekend, something going on with my arch. And I realized that I had already been having some discomfort in my foot, but I really wasn't checking in with my body. I was like moving so fast, so busy. So what I like to do when I have to slow down and do that, I love to do a good body scan. So my wellness tip for y'all is to check in with your body every day and try to do a body scan. So usually when I do it, I start off at my feet. I see how they're feeling. I wiggle my toes, move my ankles around. Also clench my calves to make sure my legs are working and feeling strong. Then I come up to my lower back and my hips, bend a bit, try to see how my core is feeling, how are things sitting in my stomach. Am I bloated? I clench my butt, see how those glutes are feeling. Then I come up, from my core to my heart, ask my heart, how's it doing today? I usually rub my heart. I wiggle my arms and fingers. I usually use my voice to make a sound like, to see if my throat is doing what I needed to do. Am I speaking? Am I feeling good in that area of my body? And then I go up to my head, see how my third eye is feeling, see how my head is feeling. I might blink my eyes a couple of times. And I try to do this daily. I usually let this happen after my workout while I'm stretching, really scanning my body to see where I'm at, how I'm feeling, so that I'm constantly checking in. I think it's so important during the winter. I know for me, I slow down a bit and I get a little stagnant. So it's important to come back into my body and make sure I'm checking in. So that's the wellness tip for this week. As we head into the holiday season, it's so important, y'all. It's so important to stay on top of your budget now, right? Because we're starting a new year. Everybody, new year, new me. I'm always like, new year, better me, right? Only competition is yourself. So we got to stay on top of our budget. I know for me this year, I'm sending out a lot of cards, not a lot of gifts, a lot of affirmations, and a lot of love because I'm trying to get my personal budget and my personal finance together, trying to meet those goals. So I wrote a tip sheet about the 10 ways to be able to save during the holiday season. And I've included a bonus tip in there on how you could grab some extra cash right away if you sign up for this dope resource that I'm going to tell y'all about on the tip sheet. So this is a shameless plug for it, but head over to boimeetswellness.com, download the tip sheet, send me an email at boimeetswellness@gmail.com. Let me know what you think about it, and just consider this a gift from me to you. I think it's an amazing opportunity for us to save and still show love and appreciation during this holiday season. And you don't want to miss out, on the off season. Even though we won't be dropping episodes until spring, that's when we'll drop season 3. We'll still be sending out weekly affirmations. We'll be showing love through a few articles, and we'll also be launching our merch line called Boy Gear. We'll be dropping a few t-shirts and some hoodies to keep you warm during this fall and winter season. So if you want to stay connected to that, head over to boimeetswellness.com. Simply click Stay Connected, add your email and demographic information, and we'll be sure to get you on our mailing list so that you get that information while we are in the off season. It's been an incredible time to talk about finance with y'all. If you really like this season, if you haven't heard all the episodes, go check them out. But if you really liked it, head over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. It helps us pay the bills. It helps us stay connected to y'all and to hear what you want to hear more about. Season 3 will focus primarily on pleasure and alternative healing. I'm really excited to have this conversation with amazing people out in the world, with incredible people out in the world. So if you know anyone who's born obviously incredible that can talk about pleasure and alternative healing, please send them our way. Send us an email at boymeetswellness@gmail.com, and we'll be sure to try and reach out to them and get them on season 3. So until then, I want y'all to jump into this dope interview with my friend and confidant, amazing fashion entrepreneur, Ciara Henry, and I will see y'all next season. Deuces.
First and foremost, thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite. I am Ciara Henry. I am from South Florida, born and raised in Hallandale Beach, Florida, which is a little town between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. I would say the pronoun I use is she. For myself, I am a lesbian, but I still recognize that I am a woman. So I guess it's a little bit about me and where I'm from and the pronouns that I use.
Nice. So do you prefer Ciara or Ciara?
Ciara.
Okay, great. I prefer to pronounce people's names right. So thank you for that slight correction. Tell me what brings you joy and what motivates you to do the work that you do.
Oh, man. What brings me joy? I feel like joy and happiness is something that you can't really define. We all know that it's a feeling. So I think just having that feeling of fulfillment is something that encourages me and that motivates me, right? So I would say finding things that fuel me on a consistent basis is something that brings me joy. Aesthetically, working out is something that brings me joy. I will say motivating and encouraging others brings me joy and fulfillment. So when I speak to others and I hear them accomplishing their goals or reaching the things that we've discussed, that brings me fulfillment, because in my professional career, that's kind of what I do. And in my personal endeavors, that's something that I do as well. So I would say like just having that urge and having those conversations with people and watching people develop, grow, evolve is something that I find joy in. Outside of that, I would say travel. And watching my self-development and constant growth also brings me joy.
Nice. Thank you so much for, throwing in the different aspects of that, and also like being really transparent about this. I think this journey to joy, right? Like people think that they're just going to get there and stay there, but I always feel like it's like pinpoints in our life. Like there's moments where I really experience extreme joy, and there's moments when I'm just kind of like chilling, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm good. But there's these highlights in the roller coaster of life where I really feel like I'm gleaming and I'm smiling. So you said travel. Where do you like to go? I love to travel. I think one of my favorite places that we went this year actually was Costa Rica. And we got to stay near a beach called Tamarindo. And if anyone has the opportunity, I would suggest going. But it was like one of the most beautiful places. And we got to see the sunrise and the sunset almost every day. And by like 7 a.m., it was already like 85, like that type of like really tropical, beautiful land, amazing food, amazing places to go dancing. So, where do you like to travel and what are your favorite things to do there? And how do you travel on a budget? Because I know it can get expensive. Is there any tips you would give folks?
Oh, man. Ironically, my last trip was actually Costa Rica a couple weeks ago, and it was pretty dope. It was actually my first vacation with my close friends. So that was pretty interesting to do. So that was really, really cool. I would say Costa Rica is my favorite spot. When I travel, I look to learn and I look for the experiences, right? So for me, I think my favorite destination thus far has been Cape Town, South Africa. By far the longest flight, Jesus Christ. It is.
That's what I've heard. I was like, you feel like you'll be there and then you're still not there.
No, it was a 27-hour flight to get there, and I think I had 2 layovers. By far the longest. My partner is actually, she's like the travel guru. Like, she travels, that's her thing. I dabbled in a couple excursions prior to us meeting, but I've done most of my traveling with her. So she's the one that I will say that has, I wouldn't say encouraged me to travel more, but she's like the guru of finding things and getting the deals. But I would say my favorite spot was South Africa. And it was tropical. You got the beaches. You got, we went to the slums. I think just being in the motherland, even though Cape Town is more touristy, it was just beautiful, man. Like, the quality of life there was great. The people were amazing. The food was amazing. It was just a dope experience. Now, I think my favorite spot, though, like, to go to was I went to Italy, Milan, for my birthday last year in September. And that was the impromptu trip or surprise trip for my birthday, because I thought we were just going to Amsterdam, because I was like, I want to go to Amsterdam, cool, let's do it. And my partner surprises me, and she's like, I didn't even know this, which is ironic. It was Fashion Week in Italy, Milan, on my birthday. So she surprised me with a trip from Amsterdam to Italy for Fashion Week. And I mean, if you've seen Eat, Pray, Love, it's exactly what the movie depicts, like the food, the culture, and plus we were there for Fashion Week, so I was able to catch some fashion shows. And she organized a behind the scenes tour of like leather manufacturing companies that actually works for like Prada, Louis Vuitton, and like they handle the manufacturing and the leather goods of those major companies. So to go behind the scenes to see that was really, really dope. Now, traveling on a budget, I will say the best thing to do when you're traveling is, I would say, take off like 2 weeks. And if you're trying to get the most out of your money, wherever you travel, check out places that are around there that you can fly to, train it to, because you get more bang for your buck versus flying to these places in the same area often. So, for example, with us going to Europe, if you go to Italy, Amsterdam, or like Paris, you can catch a train from like Paris to Amsterdam, London. Like, so if you're in that kind of vicinity or in that hub, try to hop in multiple places at one time, because you can get a flight or a train ticket for like $100 round trip, or a flight for like $200. So that's something that I would encourage people to do, is when you are traveling and you want to get more bang for your buck and more experiences for your buck, that's something that I would say is a pro tip. Try to check out other places locally around, so you're not just in one spot. So that's something I would definitely recommend doing. So, like, again, when we went to Amsterdam, I believe our flight to Italy was like, it was dirt cheap. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was really, really cheap. When I went to Thailand and to Chiang Mai, my partner and I we went to Bangkok for a weekend, and I think that flight was like $50 for like a round trip. And the thing about flying is, when you fly internationally, it's the flights that cost you most of the time, depending on when you are, because Europe is definitely expensive. But when I went to Thailand, our flight was expensive, another 20-something hour flight. But the Airbnb was like $100 for like a week.
Yeah, I heard Thailand is so reasonable. Yeah, I heard the food there. Like, somebody was telling me you can eat off of like $4 a day.
No, you can't.
And you'll be like full and you'll be fine. And I was just like,
no,
but, get there. Like you said, is the expensive part. Like getting there, the flights, And I use Scotch Cheap Flights, so I get like the little flash emails that come in when they make mistakes or when something is really lower than usual. So the other thing is just like having that money in the bank to be able to just grab a ticket and not be worried about the time, and then also have the time. So I always tell people, you taking off that vacation just to go to Vegas, save that time up, bro. Save it up.
Right.
You can go and you can have a longer trip. But I love seeing your journey and living through your journey on Instagram, and the fact that you really share with us. Not only you travel in the world, but you travel in the world as this Black lesbian woman, with a partner, with your friends, and really showcasing what it looks like to be fly, what it looks like to show up in these spaces in the way that we do, in the way that we hold space. So can you tell our audience a little bit of just about, like, what are you doing to put money on the table? Like, how are you paying these bills? What's the entrepreneur life like? Like, what should they know about, like, how to get their hustle on to be able to do these amazing things that you're doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I do still have a 9-to-5 job, so I still work. I'm glad you mentioned that, because that was the next thing I was going to say is, even if you don't work, or if you're an entrepreneur and you do other things, honestly, out of my check every 2 weeks, I put aside $150 I don't even see that goes into a separate account. So at least at minimum $300 a month is going in this account that I don't even see. So that's one way I save up money that I use for travel. It's just by watching that. Now, the entrepreneurial site, I will say for me, I have like 4 or 5 different things that I do. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Like, I call it a hustlepreneur.
Hustlepreneur, I like that. You need to put that on the next T-shirt. Can I get that?
No,
one?
for real,
Can we get
I do.
Exclusive?
Yeah, I honestly call it a hustlepreneur because I do work 40+ hours a week, and I do have, again, about 4 other businesses that stream income. So I have GWQ Fashion that streams in. I play the stock market that streams in money. I have Herbalife that streams in money as well. And I have some other things that I'm working on that's not outrunning this yet, but it's some other things I'm working on that's streaming revenue that I don't have my face on right now. But as soon as everything's finalized, I would definitely club that. So the best thing to do is just finding ways to make money, because you can't be a millionaire working a 9-to-5 job. That's just the reality. No matter how much you think you're making a year or how much you're investing or your 401k, you're not going to be a millionaire working for somebody else, period. Right? Unless you're a commission-based job and you're already making like $500,000 a year or something and you do other things. There's just no way. So you have to have other ways to stream in money. Honestly, you have to take a lot of risk. A lot of people don't understand that you can't go by what people say. So even if you're listening to me today, it's cool that I'm sharing my story with you, but you have to do your own research and you have to try things for yourself. And that's one thing I learned about the Black culture and the Black community is that a lot of people talk about things that they don't know anything about, right? And I always use Herbalife as an example, because I was one of those people who would say, oh, it's a scam or it's a setup. But I never knew that. I just went by off what people told me. So when one of my close friends, so when one of my close friends got involved, I was like, oh my God, she's done the whole pyramid scheme thing and, whatever. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to research it myself and I'm going to talk to her myself and see what's up. And having that conversation, that open dialogue with her, it educated me. And I was like, oh, this is what it's really about. All this time, I've been listening to people who listen to other people, that listen to other people that doesn't even sell it. It doesn't even do it, doesn't use it, haven't researched it. They just listen to what other people say without doing the research themselves. Once I got involved with that, I did the research on the nutrition. I partnered with my doctors. Like, I used the product first. I didn't even go in it with the idea of selling. That wasn't my intention. I wanted to tone my body. And I was like, man, I'm working out. I'm eating right, but I felt like I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. So I was like, I'm going to just try this stuff and go about it. But when I actually did the program and I dropped the weight, I toned up, I was like, wow, this stuff really works. Went to the doctor, everything's fine. I was in the best at 30. Was it 30? I think it turned 30. 29, 30, I was in the best shape of my life, and I've been an athlete my entire life. And it's like the results, you can't argue with numbers. You can't argue with facts. And talking to my doctor about everything, it was to hear that, I was like, oh, cool. Like, this is what it's about, and actually researching it. So once I became a testament of using the product, I was like, and people were asking me, like, how you toning up and dropping the weight? And granted, I started eating meat as well. And that goes into wellness. I watched a documentary on eating meat. I stopped eating meat completely. I say stop eating meat. I became a pescatarian. So I would do seafood. But I haven't had pork or beef in the last 3 years. However, I do eat turkey and chicken now, every now and again. But I went 2 years without eating chicken, beef, steak, anything like that. I ended up caving in chicken when I moved back home to Miami. You can't turn down your mama chicken. As much as I was about to say,
you can't go home and not eat no chicken, though.
No. As much as I tried to, I mean, my mom, they would literally grill every Sunday, and they would put shrimp and and salmon on the grill for me. And I think one day they had made some jerk, and I was like, man, I'm trying so hard not to give in. And I gave in. I gave in to the jerk chicken, man. I gave in to the jerk. Occasionally, I'll dabble in like turkey or chicken every now and again, but typically my week is like plant-based. But going back to the Herbalife story, that's how that started. And I was like, well, I can make a business out of this and just like educate people while doing it. It's not just trying to sell. And even when I watched the documentary on Netflix about it, it was all about the business. Like they're talking about business, how people were using it for businesses, and I guess using it, scamming and taking over, like taking advantage of people. And as I was watching the documentary, I empathized with the people who were investing their whole life savings in this company. But that just goes to someone just having bad business acumen. Like you just gotta, why would you take your whole life savings and open up a storefront to sell Herbalife?
Yeah,
that means
exactly.
again, you haven't done your research. You know,
yeah. and that could be with any product, you know what I mean? That's the thing that people, they put the tag on certain names, but that could be any product. And a lot of storefronts fail, right? Like we've been seeing that, which is why people are doing online businesses. So like you said, it's a bigger issue with the business owner, not necessarily the brand or the business. So, so that's something I learned from watching that documentary. I was like, you know, they make this big documentary about it, making it seem so bad and how they're suing the company. But if you're a business person and you're business savvy, you would look at that and say, I would not move to America with my life savings and invest in a brick and mortar store to sell this stuff, no matter what someone's telling me. And again, it goes to you doing your research. And even with me talking about it, you still have to do your research. You can't just say, oh, well, she tried it, so let me go ahead and do it. No, it takes a lot of grit, hustle, grind for any business to take off. So again, when you're trying to do things in life, you're not going to be a millionaire working a 9-to-5, period. And if you want to travel and do things, you have to budget and you have to put money to the side to try to make things happen. And that's really what I do. I make money that I don't see, and I put it elsewhere. So I have an account for my bills, like my rent, you know, your car. You know, I have an account for that and a separate one for leisure and travel. So that would be man. Separate that money. I always tell folks I put like all the money I'm trying to save in this Capital One 360 account because it's unaccessible. It's just online. Like it takes me, I think, 24 to 48 hours even to withdraw. And it has a pretty good interest rate. I think it's like at 1.3. If you have over 10,000, it bumps up to like 2.1 or something like that. But the other thing is like y'all be loyal to these banks. I'm not loyal to nobody. So if you got money stashed somewhere and another bank is having a little sale, like sign up here and you get that $500, that $1,000. And the money sitting there anyway. Just go on and move it and let it sit there and get that money because that's money on top of your money. So I think, you can't be loyal to them because they're not loyal to you, right? If they shut down tomorrow, they'll be like, you got to withdraw your money and figure it out. So the other thing is like, being really smart about where you're moving it and putting it. But you said you had a 9-to-5. So what is your 9-to-5 grind?
Oh yeah, I work. I shouldn't say the company, but I work in management for a technology company. Actually been there for 7 years after I got my master's degree. It's ironic that I even landed there because I forgot I even applied. So I moved out here with my job to California, and nice. So like I say, my regular 9-to-5, I'm still inspiring, encouraging, managing, coaching. So it aligns with my personal endeavors, which is why I've been able to be with the company for so long. And again, it's my first job. My first job out of college, working for the government. I have a master's in public administration. When I tell you, Evolve, I did that for like 3 months and I wanted to kill myself. I was like, there's no way that I could do this for the rest of my life after getting my degree. Like I spent my time in school. I was a career student. I went straight through school. I went to my master's. I got my master's at 25. I was upset with myself. I've invested this money in my education. I'm not going to even use it because I don't like the job. I stumbled across this opportunity to work for one of the best companies in the entire world. It's unbelievable. And again, I've been there for 7 years and I couldn't be happier. I've traveled with the job. I've learned a lot in this job. It's a lot of opportunity within the job. There are some days I don't want to go, but I just feel like with my personal endeavors, it encourages me to learn. And everything I learned from my job, I take to my personal businesses, which is great. Like you have to be able to learn and take something away from whatever you do in life. And I'm thankful that my job encourages, motivates me. And I'm able to talk about my personal endeavors at my job, which is pretty dope, and with the people that I've met along the way. So again, I manage in a tech company, so it's really, really cool. Really, really cool.
That's what's up. I'm happy to hear that you have like a 9-to-5 that you're happy with, that you're committed to, and that you found a sense of family in the journey. You know what I mean? Because I think that, like, especially being Black, queer folks, it can be really challenging for us to find people who support us and support our professional journeys. I mean, one of the first interviews I did on the podcast was with someone who was having a horrible experience at work. So to hear you say, you're being taken care of is, it's quite amazing. So I'm sure when you go to work, you fly as ever, because when I see you traveling the world, you fly. I mean, I've probably been seeing you and your boys on all the queer fashion sites, or you know what I mean, like
right.
Friends. I don't know. They got all these different, at Instagram.
I can't keep up with them, honestly.
It's so many of them. I always see y'all pop up in some way, suited and booted, ready to go. So why fashion? What led you there? How long have you been putting these amazing fits, amazing outfits together? And why did you decide to stamp your name and your information on it and make it a business? Why did you decide to take that route with fashion?
I'm loving these questions. Fashion to me expresses your identity. It expresses your mood. Because normally you wear colors and you dress how you feel, right? Like when you wake up in the morning, sometimes you don't really feel like it. We throw some joggers, maybe a t-shirt and some sneakers, right? It really expresses your mood and your creativity. And I think my journey started as a kid, as a kid when I realized that I was masculine and I was different from other girls. And I think we grew up in an era where the baggy clothes was normal for females to wear, like the Aaliyahs, the Monicas, the Brandys, the TLCs, the Missies. They were our role models. Well, I would say for me, they were like the fashion role models for me as women of color that I wanted to be like at a very young age. So the jumpers and the Jordans and all of that stuff was something that I was into, I would say from elementary and up. And my mom gave me the ability to dress myself, and for some reason, parents, they know, but they don't know. But for some reason, my mom used to allow me to dress like my brothers a lot. Like she would buy us all matching outfits. And I was very athletic. So, Nike was pretty popular to get the whole Nike fits. And, the Tommy outfits were good with the Tommy trunks and the Nautica trunks. And the polos were pretty big with me growing up. And all the kids were dressing like that, whether you were a female or a male. So it was pretty normal back then. Around the time of like high school, when I kind of started to find myself, I would say my identity and figuring out like I was attracted to the same sex and that I came out in high school, and my mom, I think she was shocked, but she wasn't. My dad wasn't shocked. He wasn't shocked. I told him a year before, but my mom just allowed me to be myself. And again, at an early age, I was able to express that, and I've worked since I was 16. So if I was able to have the freedom of buying my own clothes and I had my own money, that gives you your own autonomy. So your parents can't really dictate what you can and cannot wear if you're purchasing your own stuff. And I think that's where it started. And my mom was like that too. My mom wanted us to always be fly. Like Christmas, when people were getting like bikes and toys and stuff, we got that too. But we looked forward to the fashion. Like my mom would buy us jewelry and the outfits and the clothes. That was our Christmas, like clothes, what that we look forward to. So I would say from that point is where I was like, okay, I want to be fashionable. I want to like be me. And I was able to be a female and wear male clothes and make it look fly. And then I would say on my way into college when I met my friends, like I've been friends with these women probably since 2000. I think the people that you constantly see me with since like 2004, 2005. And we've been friends since then. And honestly, when you find people that match your fly and match your energy, stick with them, because it's hard to come across good people that match your energy, your drive, even your fashion, man. It's something that's hard to come by. So for me, because I was able to express myself and look good in it, it was great. And being from South Florida, if for people who are listening, it's hard to find women that look like me. And I'm going to be very transparent and honest. You know, the lesbian stigma growing up was like the big pants and the goals and real hardcore. Still today, a lot of masculine lesbians in South Florida, they look like boys. They look like men. I got a lot of compliments from straight people that were like, "You look good. You're clean. You're cut. Like it's you make it look good." That's something I wanted to dive into, to let people know, like, we're not all the same, if that makes sense. It's more of educating people who are ignorant, and it's not in a negative way, but they don't know about our lifestyle. They don't know about like our culture. Like, this is our culture when it comes to the LGBTQ community. I call it a culture. You know, we're a community, Definitely. We're a family. And I think that a lot of people don't know about our culture, even our own family and friends. Like, to be African American, that's the culture that we say white people just don't get. And I feel like with the LGBTQ community, we're a culture that no one really gets, no matter what community you're in. And my goal with fashion was to use that avenue to educate, because it's universal. Honestly, with that platform of fashion, I've been able to have great dialogue with the heterosexual community. I've been able to open eyes and change perceptions of our community. Because, you know, a lot of people think just because you're lesbians that you want to be men. And granted, I can educate them and say, we do have trans people in our community, you know, that feel that have a connection to that masculine part of them, where they don't want to be connected to the feminine part of them. And I can only dive so deep because I'm not connected to that, right? And again, I tell people, you can't teach something that you don't know or that you haven't really experienced. So all I can do is share people's stories that have gone through the process, and have that platform for people who can share their stories, so that we can continue to educate. And again, through fashion, for me and my mindset, that's the way for me to educate our community, educate people. So getting attached to that dapper stigma, that's how I feel like it started. And that's how I feel like my friends, how we've been connected and how our energy has been connected, because we view that the same. And again, man, like I said, your energy and your clothing matches that, whether it's a suit, you know, and it's hard to find suits as women men's suits to tailor our body. So everything I own that I wear out is tailored. That makes a big difference when it comes to your clothing, guys. So make sure when you are buying suits or you're buying pants or anything as a female and you're shopping for men, please get your stuff tailored, ladies, gentlemen. You know, that's what changes the game when it comes to the fashion, and it comes to like you looking clean cut and cutting sewing nice. Is actually finding clothes that fit, that's appealing. And you want to be trendy too, because right now we have the joggers and the big shirts that are kind of trendy right now. Staying hip, staying trendy with it, and just make sure that your clothes fit right, you know?
That's what's up. Yeah, I think that I really resonated with me when you were talking about, you know, the experience of kind of growing up in the 90s and the late 80s, you know what I mean? And really seeing folks in different bodies, especially women, navigating fashion and grabbing that baseball hat and, you know, grabbing a jersey, you know what I'm saying? And really like, you know, sporting it ourselves. And now where even like in the 2000s, I feel like we always wearing like baggy clothes at some point, tall white tees and pink tees. And, you know, them songs was out. And then we kind of like transitioned to this point where we're really, really like dapper, and really like, you know, trying to figure ourselves out. And I think that there's always going to be folks who are behind the trend, or folks who are just a little bit more urban and hood, right? Like, I mean, I grew up in South LA. And when people meet me and I say I'm from LA, you know, and they're often like, what part? Of course, right? And then when I tell them, they're like, oh, wow, you're different. But I think it's based on the places we've been, too, which is why I always tell folks like to get out of your bubble, too, you know, because I think that if that's all you see, then that's all you'll give. So that's the power of the internet, right? Like that's the power of this visibility in this world that we have, where we're able to show people something different. And I think that that's really what you're doing with your company. So the other thing I really appreciate about it is the fact that you're able to add motivation in there. You know what I mean? Add quotes to really inspire people on your shirts, not just graphics, right? So what really led you to really start talking about like the law of attraction, about goals, about just like giving people things to look forward to within the fashion as well. Not just the clothing, right? Because I think it's also the messaging that you're able to put on there that you're able to give to the community.
I love the fact that you mentioned like the messaging behind like the clothing and you mentioned like where you're from, and it's kind of the same thing for me. Like I'm from, again, a small town that no one's probably ever heard of. And when you're in a small knit community, you only know what you know. And when you acknowledge that, it's not really ignorance. You just haven't been taught and you haven't experienced new things. And with social media, we're just living in a great time where we could showcase things to people. We can share stories with people that haven't taken that leap. And I wanted to start small. I feel like anything, the way you impact anything is that you start small. You always start home. Home is where you start. And I feel like for me, being from a small town where people look at me, and I've been a big voice in my community going off to college, and that wasn't considered normal for my community in 2000. Like for us to go off to school, that wasn't normal. So to do a lot of firsts in my family, like I'm the first one, in my family to graduate from college with a master's. To be the first to do that, I wanted to showcase that. And again, we're living in a time where we're able to share our experiences and share our stories. So being able to take that and put these inspirational quotes and these ideas on clothing is something that I wanted to do. And alongside that, I'm able to share a story with those sayings. So like Trust Your Dopeness was like the first shirt that I put out. And it's a story in that shirt. And that shirt was a point in my life where I did not allow fear to control me anymore. Like my grandma had just passed. I was living in Atlanta. And that picture, even the picture on the shirt, is a picture that I took of the Jackson Bridge in Atlanta. And a lot of
wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Thank you for that.
Right. So a lot of people don't even know, like, I took that picture, put it on the shirt, and it was more of like that transitional phase for me I moved from Atlanta back to Miami to kind of like gather my thoughts and, live this life that I know my grandmother wished that I would have lived. And that's why I really took hold and took control of my life. I traveled more, I moved, I started investing more. I started taking more risk, and I invested more in my company. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to share my story. I'm going to encourage people to just like follow your dreams and your passions. Just do it. And it is thinking about Nike, all these decades, they have the best slogan. It's been in our face for decades as kids. Just do it. So simple. But those words mean so much. And when I started to just do things, that's when I found fulfillment. That's when I found joy. That's when I found happiness. That's when I was challenging myself. I was growing. I was developing, and as a slogan with my company, it's redefining the norm. Like, what's normal anymore? We can redefine that. We can recreate it. And that's something that we've been doing. And with the clothing brand, that's something I want to encourage people to do is create your norm. Don't let social media create it for you. Don't let your family create that norm for you. You control your life. You only get one. There's no do-over. It's no, like, that's it. Like, every day that you get, you're not going to get that moment back. So you have to continue to live in the present. And something I'm learning too, like when you think about spirituality, is the present is called present for a reason. Because every day you wake up, it is a present. That is a gift to you to like start over new, to do a new adventure, to learn something new, to grow. You don't get this moment. Someone did not wake up today. And I think when you acknowledge that, you don't let the past control you. You don't let the future worry you. You just stand in the moment and you enjoy the present. And I think that's where beautiful. Faith comes in. Yeah, it's where faith comes in. It's where vulnerability comes in. Trusting your intuition comes in. Taking risk comes in. Trusting your dopeness, that comes in. It's really manifesting things in the universe. And you can't manifest without the energy aligning and without putting in the work. You have to put in the work for your manifestations to come true. You can't pray and wish and dream and meditate these things into fruition without the energy. Like, this is impossible.
That's very true. That's very true. I think that, people, the self-help world will have people believing that they can just, write the gratitude. But I think that what writing the gratitude and what doing that particular work does, it puts you in the mindset to prepare you to do the work. You know what I mean? So I always tell folks, you gotta get grounded, right? Like, you gotta get intentional And for me, that's what it's been like, being able to meditate, being able to write my words of gratitude. When I write words of gratitude every day, I know I'm kinder, I'm clearer, I'm more present. And then when I have to step into the room and have those conversations that I need to have in order to open the doors, or in order for my name to be indoors that I'm not even in yet, right? It makes me show up as a better person, right? Like, it makes me show up as what I say, probably the best version of myself. So, still use those tools, but definitely don't rely on them to make it happen. Like, I couldn't rely on writing it down for this podcast to happen. I got to literally do it, right? Like, I could write it down a million times and write down the idea, but I really like that concept around, trusting your dopeness. And my grandmother actually passed this year. She passed when I was in Costa Rica, which was really wild, to be so far away from the country. But I just remember having a moment where I was like, we were going zip lining, and I was scared for my life. And I was just like, like you said, only one life to live, right? Like, I could sit here and be afraid and not have this experience, or I could have something to talk about, right? So we really gotta push through our fears. And I think that you being the front of motivation is so inspirational, and also we're just so lucky to have you. So I really want to give you gratitude for, being willing to have the courage to not only be in the present, but to share your present with the world. So before we head into our next segment of the show, I just wanted to ask you one more question, which is, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs on finance? Because this season of BOI Meets Wellness is all about financial wellness, but what advice would you give to boys that are thinking about, starting their own business, whether that's a fashion line or, we're in California. I know you're in California now, a tech business, whatever they're trying to do or trying to manifest. What financial advice would you give them before they get started?
If you're not putting up your own money in your business, why would somebody else? A lot of people start the
That's
businesses.
real. That's a real moment right there. Like, if you ain't got it, if you ain't paying the bill, why you think I want to pay the bill?
Right. If you're not with that mind concept of getting investors or trying to find people or a credit card or anything like that to take out in your business, the first question is, would you invest your own money in your brand? Would you invest your own money in someone that had the same idea that you're doing? Honestly, you have to sit and ask yourself that question. First off, if I started GWQ, I started GWQ off of my own money. Like, everything I did, like, it was no credit cards, no loans, none of that. Literally, when I first started 2 years ago, every logo, LLC, my first batch order, everything was done with my money. Website, nobody gave me anything. It was all done with my money. So now I'm at a point where I do have silent investors, and my partners and I, we do have a business account now, and we do have a business credit card because we took the money, or when I started the business, I used my personal money to get it flowing and going. So when you believe in your brand to the point that you're putting your savings, your money into something, then you're able to, I feel like, pitch ideas and pitch a business plan to other companies and to other financial industries to invest in that. So you have to believe in your product and sacrifice first before you even ask for financial help. It keeps you out of the negatives because, again, it's your money. You're not owing someone money. You're not paying interest on something. So once you get out of the black, continue to invest your money into your branding, into your company, into your marketing, into your product, into your research. Constantly reinvest and be patient. And I know it's not really dealing with finances in general, but you have to be patient. And it takes time. A lot of things take time. Even with me, bitch, being 2 years old, my company's only 2 years old. And I feel like it's been longer than that. But I just literally got a picture the other day that from when I launched from one of my video shoots, I was like, wow, that was only 2 years ago. I feel like it's been so much longer than that because I've been manifesting it, talking about it before I actually introduced it to the world for so long. So I would say financially, back yourself up first before asking for investors or asking for money. That would be the way to go.
That's real. Thank you for that advice. Yeah, I always tell folks not only, definitely back yourself up and also be real with yourself about what your intention is, because I think that sometimes people start businesses because they love to do things, but not within the mindset of how to monetize it. and then they get upset when it doesn't monetize, right? Or they want to start a business and keep it to themselves and not tell anybody, and then get upset when people don't support it. So y'all got to also tell us what your business is and what you're doing, and not be afraid. And I think a lot of that fear of even telling folks about your brand is because you're not sure about it. So thank you so much for just giving folks that foundation, because I feel like we have to believe in our dreams in order for other people to believe it. And sometimes we want other folks to believe it before we even believe it ourselves, right? So I think sometimes that's the disconnect. So what's next for the clothing line? What's next for you? How do folks get involved? How do they support your work? How do they check you out?
Support is always in the forefront. So if you want to support the company, you don't even have to buy a product. If you just share the story, repost it, tell your friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to check us out. If you even read the blog, it's not just a clothing line. I have a blog that talks about wellness, finances, health, fitness, spirituality. It's not just a t-shirt right now. Because right now the line is just shirts, but it's more than that. It's really an educational platform to create the safe space for people that look like me. And that the brand is very inclusive. I don't want people to think that it's only for the LGBTQ community. And I think to share this platform and say, hey, yes, it's ran by lesbians. Yes, it's about spreading love and, trusting your dopeness. That's not just for gay people. It's not just for the LGBTQ people. It's for anyone, honestly. It's very inclusive. It's a platform for everyone. It's an educational platform. So when I do talk to straight people about it, they're like, oh, is it for gays? No, it's not just for the gay community. It's for everyone. It's for people everyone's queer. Everyone's different. Your sexuality and sexual orientation does not dictate who you are. I think that people are attracted to it that look like me, period. But I just want people to know that it's for any person that's going through a journey, that's afraid, that needs encouragement, that needs motivation, that needs to see someone that looks like me, whether you're a female. People of color that look like you and I, we fit in a lot of categories, right? We're educated, we're females, we're lesbians, I have dreads. We have a lot of stigmas that's kind of held against us in this community, in this world, I would say. So to have someone that looks like me, who can identify with me, is great. It's wonderful. But the platform is not just for that. It's for everyone. It's very, very inclusive. You can check me out at GWQFashion.com. Again, it's GWQFashion.com. All of our IG and social media handles is GWQ Fashion, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. We get most of our traffic through Instagram, so check us out. Every day we do post something in reference to Fitness Fridays, in reference to Motivation Mondays. We have Woman Crush Wednesdays, Travel Tuesdays. I do drop little hints and tips, and I share some of my travel excursions on there. And right now we do have something we're cooking up right now. So if you are into fitness, I would love, love, love for you to start working out. Or if you are working out and you're posting it on your social media, hashtag check-in. So right now we have a new movement called check-in. You can at GWQFashion.com when you're doing it. We'll repost it because we have something in the works right now that's dealing with fitness. So I want for you guys to be involved with that. So we're starting small with the check-in. So if you can check in, that'll be so dope for you to become a part of that movement, because when we launch our new stuff, it's going to be amazing, amazing, amazing for you guys to see and join.
That's dope. Yeah, I'm gonna post and tag you. I usually tag the hashtag, did you gym today or did you move today? But now I got to add check-in on there because
yeah,
I definitely like the online platforms of accountability and also just being able to see other people moving, because it inspires me to get out and get movement. I feel like I've always been athletic, but in the last few years, I actually started off in my journey of wellness with Herbalife, and I was a distributor at one point as well, which was a cool part of my journey. But when I was doing it, I was just like, okay, what I really appreciated was the community and the accountability support, even though I love the product as well. But that team and that push. So that's what I appreciate even about online wellness and fitness spaces. So thank you so much for creating that, because I think that's going to be dope. So don't y'all forget, hashtag that check-in, tag them. But then also in the show notes, we'll have all this information So if you are listening to this, click on the show notes and you'll be able to click right on those links and get access to that information, because these are some amazing resources. Anything else before we turn to our more fun and game section, which I call Boy Talk and Hop?
Trust your intuition. Take the risk. Constantly challenge yourself so that you can grow. You will surprise yourself at how great you are and how amazing you are when you take those challenges and you take that leap. And you don't know how strong you are until you face your toughest battles. It doesn't always have to be a negative battle. You know, I know people hear that saying a lot, like God gives his toughest battles, you know, to people who know that can handle it. It's not just that. Whether it's a career change, whether it's launching that business, whether it's having that tough conversation with a family member or friends you haven't talked to in a while, you will surprise yourself at how great you are. And it's okay to be vulnerable. When it comes to our community and the African American community, it's a stigma behind being vulnerable that it shows a sign of weakness, but it's really not. It's really not a sign of weakness. It's really a sign of courage. And to be vulnerable and be open about your journey, or whether it's a conversation, again, you're going to grow. And in this life, I feel like growth is the most beautiful part of it. So to anyone out there that's listening, I will challenge you to be more open, to be more vulnerable, and take that leap.
Thank you for that motivation. That was a challenge for me. You didn't know you was giving me the challenge, but you gave me the challenge, because, I mean, it's hard. Some of these conversations, right? And you have to be vulnerable. You have to be open. And you have to be in the present. That's what I'm learning, right? Like, I can't come into a challenging moment with the past, and I can't come in too much with the future, right? Because then I'm not currently dealing with whatever the problem or the issue is now. So Boy Talk and Hop is like a fill in the blank type of vibe. So I'm going to give you a phrase and you're going to fill in the blank, whatever comes to your mind, top of your mind. It's just another way for our audience to get to know you and to get to enjoy you. So
I'm not prepared for this.
Yeah, I know. You got it though. You got it. You like an all-star. I ain't even worried about it. I ain't worried about you. So an example would be like, I love to watch. And what I've been, saying this season is I love to watch Pose. That's what I've been watching. I also love to watch cartoons, you know what I'm saying? And I love anything that's short. So if y'all got like some episodes that's like 15 minutes, a YouTube show, send that to me. My attention span is, I love to read, but when it comes to TV, like, it's real short. So that's what I love to watch. So that's how the questions will kind of be. You'll just fill in the blank, and it's whatever comes to your mind first, because we really want it to be that creative burst. So my first question for you is, love is
open.
Wellness is
challenging. It is very challenging, because I don't think it's a way to reach that without challenging yourself and being, again, vulnerable and open to change.
More money, more
problems in general. Money is not the cure to everything. And I think people think that money is the cure to everything and it's the fix all. But you can say you want more, and when you get more, it's still not enough. Or it's, it can be the root of all evil. Money to me more money equates to more problems, more taxes.
If I could spend the day with anyone, it would be blank, and we would do blank, and that could be dead or alive.
It would be my grandmother, and it would just be lunch to have a conversation.
Nice. I love to watch
reality TV. It is a guilty pleasure. I literally call my Mondays mindless Mondays, because Love and Hip Hop comes on. Like, I catch up on all the reality shows, like 90 Day Fiance. T.I. and Tiny Family Hustle is actually a good one. I enjoy that one. But my reality pleasure, guilty pleasure, I call it mindless Monday, and I watch all like my reality shows on a Monday.
That's what's up. I'm currently reading blank.
Dare to Lead by Brene Brown.
Nice. Can you say that title one more time?
Dare to Lead by Brene Brown.
Dare to Lead. I got to check that out. That sounds really interesting. What is it about?
Leading, basically. I don't know if you guys know who Brene Brown is, but she has a Netflix special about courage and vulnerability. And that was, I saw her TED Talk before, and that's why it led her to the Netflix. But she did a TED Talk where she did not have a plan. She just decided to be vulnerable. And it's the most watched TED Talk ever, which led her to her Netflix special. And she has a couple books. And with me being in leadership, the Dare to Lead, which was what I do audiobooks, so I'm listening to right now.
Nice. My favorite food is
tacos. I'm Mexican, guys. I'm not talking about the African American community. Like, I'm Mexican. My mom didn't tell me. Like, I have a taco tattooed on my wrist. Okay?
Wow.
It's that serious.
Well, you know what? When we link up, I'm gonna have to make you a taco because I think I'm pretty good at making some bomb tacos. So I'm gonna have to hook you up.
Listen.
I'll make sure they're pescatarian. You know, add a little shrimp in there for you to keep the diet going. But I'll take that challenge.
I'm gonna let you know I'm a hard critic when it comes to Mexican food. So come on now, you gotta come with it.
You know, I'm from LA, so I'm pretty much, you know, I'm half right now. I'm half breed right now.
That's true. That's one of my favorite things about living in LA.
Yeah, you can all the food at all times.
Yeah.
Yep. And at all times of the day. Every day. Yeah. At all times.
Yeah.
Fashion is
expression.
And last but never least, Ciara
is a reflection of the universe.
I can say that is very true. I say. It's been amazing to see your journey, friend. And I really, even though it's been from a distance, you know, I was telling someone recently, we've all kind of grew up together, translated from Black Planet to Downlink to Facebook to Instagram. Like, I mean, we really moved these platforms together and seeing each other's visibility. I want to thank you for being on BOI Meets Wellness, for sharing your story, for continuing to push this dialogue around education, for making our community to, you know, dig deeper, and for allowing us to witness your greatness.
All right, guys, it's Ciara, and I'm born obviously incredible.
Thanks for listening to BOI Meets Wellness. Stay connected on and off the show by following us online at BOI Meets Wellness. That's boy with an I. Until next time, go be incredible.